Let's start in our second day of Ceph Days Germany here in Berlin. And we start with the keynote of the second day. And please welcome Joachim Kraftmayer, founder and CEO of CLYSO. As a recognized authority in software-defined storage and Ceph expert, Joachim brings the grand strategic perspective, isn't it?
Thank you, Markus.
He will talk about Ceph storage in transition, and maybe you have some stories from the Cephalocon.
Correct. So, good morning. So, to explain the title of Ceph storage in transition, first perhaps I have to introduce myself a bit. But that's the short agenda. Who I am, what is Ceph? Hopefully everybody knows this. It's only one slide. Why Ceph? Who's using it, and also updates from Ceph Foundation, Ceph community, the Cephalocon happening 2 weeks ago, and perhaps a short outlook of next year. So I think I'm Ceph ambassador since 6 years, something like this. Of course, I'm also the founder of CLYSO. I'm also a Ceph consultant since 2012, so a long time. I think in the beginning there was somehow Vito and me at this point, no one else who tried to help. I'm also a Ceph Foundation board member. The CLYSO is also a diamond member in the Ceph Foundation. And since Corona, I'm focusing, if it's about the community, that we have a healthy community, that we're reaching out to new users. We want to get fresh blood into the community. I think that's important. And the main motivation is to have Ceph as a sustainable project, open source project over the next decade. And then let's see who will take over. My personal motivation also since 2021 is have a Ceph day every month, so 12. We are not completely done, but I think next year we are next to this. And of course, supporting the Cephalocon organization, talking with KubeCon, Open Infra, with the Linux Foundation and a lot of other organizations in the background. But first of all, I want to thank you, the people that make this event possible. So Ingo from DESI, Julia from DESI, also Ansgar who did the workshop yesterday, also Roberto, Marcus, and Christina. And I would say for this, thank you and a big applause for the team. So let's get started. I hope everybody knows why we are using Ceph and what are the benefits. But yeah, I like open source. It's the way where you can be challenged, where you can think about new ideas, where you can have the exchange between people, different cultures, different experience. And I think that's my favorite reason why I'm in open source. And yeah, at the end, I think it's an old story. Ceph is just awesome. So, but Ceph is also now 21 years old. So it runs everywhere. I got challenges over the last decades to implement Ceph clusters on 1 node to 3 OSDs or on 1,000 servers. So it's somehow from the sizing, everything is possible, or it always depends. That's a consultant at the moment talking. Everything is possible, depends on your requirements. But yeah, that was fun, for sure, to have discussions with different people, different organizations, and find the right solution together with them. Ceph had a long history about the future of storage. Had different visions in the direction, but I think it is now the Linux of storage, in my opinion. It has a long history. It already showed that it is mature, and it has more than 1,400 contributors. I just checked, I think a few days ago, on Ceph telemetry, okay, how many classes are reporting stats to telemetry, and there you see it's more than 4,200 clusters and more than 200,000 OSDs, active OSDs, yeah, next to 2 exabyte of data. And if you ask me, I would multiply everything perhaps by 10, and then you could have a reasonable number how much data is stored in Ceph and controlled by Ceph. So I think that's a great numbers if you think about what happened in the last 20 years. From where Ceph is coming at the beginning with stalling OSDs, and now it's running behind the scenes somehow everywhere. Yeah, sometimes it's surprising that you see, okay, my medical data is perhaps also stored on Ceph or some other stuff. It's not really seen, but it's working behind the scenes. Yeah, I think someone also in the last 2 weeks told me he has not seen any data loss in Ceph since a long time or ever. So I think it's mature. And because of the current trends that's now ongoing, you see that there's more investment, more interest to make it more and more secure, to open new businesses, healthcare, public sector, sovereign clouds, whatever. And I think Ceph is a good project for it. And for me personally, from my experience, I have to compare a lot of storage systems with Ceph. For me, Ceph is the only open source software-defined storage project at the enterprise level. Perhaps I missed this. And I mean, that's the reason why we're organizing the Ceph days and why I'm also doing the presentations is, I mean, I trust also want to reach out to all of you that we can shape the future of Ceph together. It's important that we have these events and perhaps also meetups and Cephalocon, and that we need feedback from end users, from administrators, operators, and share our experience to make Ceph better and shape the future together. So, who uses Ceph? I think there's someone from OVH Cloud somewhere. You're online. There's also Vito. There's also your company. Yeah. DigitalOcean, Huawei, of course, CERN since a long time. So a lot of Samsung, Deutsche Telekom. So a lot of big Line. Also, we spoke about Line today. So really huge companies around the world. Oh, SpaceX. Yeah. Also a tiny small cluster, but really important for them. And of course, if someone wants to do a presentation on the Ceph Day, feel free to reach out to a Ceph ambassador like me or others that are available, and then we can help you to do a presentation and share your experience with Ceph. This just showed, I mean, personally, we didn't have a focus on OpenStack for a while. We stopped OpenStack commitment, I think, so 2018. But now, since 2 or 3 years, we are back. And one of my colleagues then did this analysis. I think it was the Open Infra Summit in Seoul last year. And we were quite surprised that you see, okay, it was always known, okay, 60% of all the OpenStack classes are using Ceph. But even this increased over the last years. So even there, the footprint is way higher. And what you also can see in this diagram is that you see some of the competitors that are coming, that they have some like a small hype curve, but they normally disappear and go more in this 5 to 0% area back. But also, Rook is an orchestration tool, or I think 6 years ago I said an honeypot, but 8 years ago, but it is the orchestration tool for all the Kubernetes workload. And we see on KubeCon and in other conferences that the interest in Rook is getting more and more. And I think also Rook is now stable since 4 to 5 years. And this is also opening up for Ceph a new user group. And the interesting part is, if you go to a KubeCon and you talk about Ceph, nobody knows it. But if you talk about Rook, then they know what you're talking about. So short update, Ceph Foundation for this year. I mean, Corona had an impact to all the open source projects in general. So no Ceph days, no events anymore, less contribution, also financial topics with the Linux Foundation, and also the Ceph Foundation was impacted, but at least 2 quite well-known companies joined back into the Ceph Foundation, and we now, I think it's 27 members in total. We reached a state that you can say, okay, that's sustainable, but of course, we try to work on this, that 27 is not enough. So, state of the Ceph days, or Ceph community days for this year. Yeah, we did FOSDEM. We did 3 new user workshops co-located with Cephalocon or other Ceph days. Yeah, we are now at the Ceph Day Berlin. Then there was the London Ceph Day organized by IBM, the Seattle by us together with OS Nexus, Silicon Valley, India. But for next year, we already are in the planning. Okay, FOSDEM is already granted. Is also for sure coming. But now in Europe, more Germany, Switzerland, yeah, London, Tokyo. In North America, I think it will be again in New York. And let's see where the next Cephalocon will happen. My personal goal is perhaps we can try to get this back to Germany the first time. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, Cephalocon 2025 was a bit smaller than the last one in Geneva. I think in Geneva it was around about 360 participants. This time, I think because of visa topics and also about the political situation, we only had a bit more than 230. But most important, and perhaps that's the most important information for you, is if you want to talk with developers, then you should go to the Cephalocon, because that's the only event once a year where you can meet a lot of developers directly, and where you also can ask them direct questions on their presentations or outside. You just can invite them for a beer, I think or you just join some communities, and then I think they can answer your questions. I asked my team, and of course also myself, what was the best favorite talks from our perspective, and one was for sure the new fast erasure coding. Did someone already heard about the fast erasure coding? Okay, 1, 2. I will go a bit into details of this, because this is the change why I set the title of In Transition, because that's a game changer. So that from Dongdong, the eBPF tracing was also a great talk, and of course talking with the science group about problems at large scale with 8,000 OSDs, or how much of them, that's always great. So, but now go a bit more into the technical details, at least for a few minutes. So fast erasure coding. I just took some of the slides out of this presentation. We started this with IBM, I think, together. Was it beginning of this year or end of last year? And the current erasure coding is implemented. If you do an update, all your chunks. And this one is now implementing that does partial updates. So, and there are more other stuff in preview that even can increase the performance. So that's the content from their slide. You can read it. Where you can see. So we have their squid, and there we have tentacle with fast erasure coding. And you see this 3 times improvement at read IOPS with 4K. Any question? How much more performance you get with the fast erasure coding? Okay. You see also at a lot with 32 kilobytes, you still have around 2x more IOPS. And on the right-hand side, for the 512K random reads, you see more than 1.2 more in throughput. And the game changer is it because that's read become later to write as well, is because this opens erasure coding to RBD workload that was until now not really possible. And we come later to the topic about what kind of effects it will have to the RGW. So another preview in this context is that the performance team also implemented easy direct read. So you do not have to read from the primary, you can read from all the entities, you can read in parallel. And this has a nice effect because you have erasure coding K plus M, and K is not that important anymore. It's not if you have K4 or K6 or K8. It is from the point of view from the client, from a read perspective, it is not, you do not have to care about this anymore. So because otherwise in the old implementation, you had, of course, you have to gather the information, the primary OSD has to form the object, you have to send it back. That's the main difference. And for partial writes, so important is, of course, the partial writes, so the updates. You see also big improvements. I just took the performance graphs on this, but I just would recommend you, if you want to understand the details and what is possible, then check on my slides the link to the presentation. I think in 2-3 weeks there will be also the recording available. And yeah, I think that's really something impressive that they implemented. And there's more coming. So they are talking about this, that if this is done, if this is in production, that they also can change on the fly the erasure coded profile in the same pool. That's one of the next topics. And that you also could do replicated. I mean, it's not implemented. It's just what we are talking about is that also that multiple implementations could live in one pool. Good. So if you want to know more, I just said, check the link, wait for the video, and watch the full presentation. Good. Outlook for next year. Yeah, of course we have digital sovereignty. I think we still have AI and ML. Yeah, moving away from hyperscalers, moving away from VMware. I think that's quite obvious. I think that will be also the transfer for next year. I would say dominant the requirements of our customers. We see that S3 becomes more and more important, that the implementation, the refactoring improvement on RGW, features like direct I/O for RGW getting more into the focus. Reducing the TCO with fast erasure coding for sure will be also quite prominent next year. And higher encryption standards for, as I mentioned, for different businesses. Yeah, and on the right-hand side, I mean, now it's more like a question. Who knows the Ceph analyzer that we offer on our website? Okay, perhaps you should do more marketing on this. So we have an analyzer on our website that does just a basic check-up of your cluster. You upload the Ceph report, JSON, and it gives you some recommendations. I mean, after more than 10 years of consulting, I just said, okay, I give 20%, 25% of my knowledge back, but some questions I do not want to answer anymore. That's enough. And I also thought that is better for the reputation of Ceph in general. If you have somehow a guideline that you can follow and that you can compare your configurations with our experience. Yeah, the name, the same is with the Ceph config viewer and config diff. I had long discussions with developers and how they release a Ceph version and why they are changing default values, what is the motivation behind, and how they, and if they do it, how they could announce it, because sometimes it's just a surprise. And for this, we just wrote some small tools. And Otto is coming from the team from Vancouver. That's a toolkit to make, or its approach to make the operations of Ceph easier in the future. So I think they just started it 2 to 3 months ago. Yeah, we are still working on a newer API version because we have also the need in cloud native approach that everything should have a correct API and a complete API. Chorus, perhaps some of you already watched the presentation yesterday. Yeah, and then we are doing Rook development since a few years. I think we are the only official supporters of Rook. And then we just do rigorous Ceph development next year, I think with our 21 Ceph developers at the moment. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joachim. Yeah, sorry about. Yeah, not everybody knows about the Ceph analyzer.
Yeah. I mean, it's not my problem. Yeah.
Did I say Ceph analyzer? No. Anyway, are there any questions regarding the keynote of Joachim?
Can you talk more about the Ceph API that you want to implement?
Okay, so I mean, from a history, we also hired people from SUSE that also worked on dashboard and the API. And the current API is hard to debug, especially if you run it in a container and it's a module of the manager. It is not really completely consistent. It's also not stable, especially in the context. We tried to rely on this API, I think 2 years ago, to do more to operate Ceph via controllers, and that failed because this API somehow went in an inconsistent, not responsive state. And out of this, we decided to start to re-implement the most important Ceph API commands for us, with a major focus on RGW. In the first version, we tried to talk directly with Rados layer, but that's perhaps a bit hard for an MVP. And for now, we just want to have an gRPC and REST API, Ceph API, that we can replace the current existing one. And that's something that we are working on, but it has not our main focus on to complete this. So if you have time, we work on this more and more, but there is no final end date. And I think we will find more and more API calls that are missing, especially in the Rados gateway area. Okay. Do you have a special interest in the Ceph API? Or?
Well, yeah. There's the RGW admin API, there's the orchestrator, there's the dashboard, cluster API,
yeah.
There's the Rados interface.
So, yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. Exactly, you're touching the point why why we started this, because a lot of stuff is only available if you call Rados Gateway Admin, and the API is also, from RGW, is also not complete. And yeah, so we want to improve the situation. Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other question?
Yeah, regarding FastEC, what's your opinion about the quality of that code? Is it production ready? Is it enabled by default in the next release? Will it replace the old EC code?
Okay, so in general in open source, if I don't test it, I don't trust it. So what's coming next is, I think after next week or in 2 weeks, we start to do massive scale-out testing for FastEC. So I think we have upcoming 4 clusters from a few hundred, 300, 400 OSDs to more than 1,000. And we will do this on mixed workload and also on NVMe. I think we are done with this test, the scale-out test of this, perhaps in February, something like this. And then we will, for sure, also post some of the results on Ceph.io, like we did it with the 1 million IOPS post 2024. But yeah, at the end, we are really interested. I mean, we are involved in this since a year, and we try now to see, okay, how it really works at scale.
Thank you.
And also with the different workloads. I mean, with RGW, CephFS. I mean, what I missed to say is also that what is not available, but it's also possible that in the future that you can store OMAPs in EC. So that's another thing that we want to test.
And will it be a drop-in replacement?
Sorry?
Will it be a drop-in replacement?
Yeah.
So you can use your existing pools within FastEC? Okay.
Yeah. Tom, you have to think about features that are available in Tentacle and features that will be available in Umbrella. So I'm mixing this a bit up. So.
Okay, so I guess you just answered my question regarding EC pools with FastEC regarding the OMAP issue, because for RBD workloads you still need a separate pool just to store like metadata. So that will also be a feature then?
There's a discussion for Umbrella, for the Umbrella version that this, I mean that FastEC is implemented. This one is in discussion. What is possible? So they're more. So you have to understand the team with the background is also coming from IBM Flash, all Flash storages. They already have their experience to implement this there, and now they're just moving their experience and map this onto in Ceph. So I think that's a good example that you get experience from other storage appliances and vendors, and they improve Ceph on a decent level.
Okay, so OMAP will sometime.
It could be. It could happen. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So, any further questions? No. So, thank you, Joachim, for this keynote. And yeah, we are waiting for the erasure coding in production. I can't wait for it.
And thank you for the additional 10 minutes.